Let's see how it works.
Well, I can't even find the live show.
We have no visibility on it. I know I don't see it either, but I'm going to see if it's.
Here we go.
Good evening, y'all. See, there we are, and we're live, just like that.
Is it the Mosley picture?
It's a Mosley picture. Yes, yes, it is.
Well, I have a great Mosley picture. You should have had me bring it.
I should have had you bring it.
I mean, it's
Good evening, y'all.
Oh yeah, there we are. We're working.
Yeah, we're totally working.
I mean, we're literally working.
We're working overtime. So hey, thank you so very much for hanging with us. We are. Are we late? Yeah, we're like 6
Y'all
minutes
tell
late.
me I was fat. Jesus.
stop drawing attention to something that no one would notice. You don't
Yeah,
look that
just
you,
don't
you
look
look
here.
fine.
The sun,
Look there.
they're, you know what? Those Sunkist cans are very small.
It's true.
They're not normal
And that's
size
the little
Sunkist
10
cans.
ouncer too.
It's
which
a
is
little
totally
teeny one.
skewing the whole entire.
It makes you look gigantic.
Delicious.
Welcome everybody. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I'm Ken Marangolo. This is, thank God, it's Tuesday. After the Whistle, the official after show for the Washington Commanders on Hawks Haven. Welcome everybody from Hawks Haven. Before I introduce everybody, let's just get out of the way. Hit the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up if we say something you like. For example, if Kevin Ricka says something you like.
Like I'm double fisting to celebrate Ron Rivera's fastest start as the head coach of one of these teams that we call something. He has never gotten out of the gates quite this fast. We're 3-4 heading into week 8 for the first time in the Rivera era.
I just.
Look at us.
Tim Strachan,
What's going on?
what is going on?
What the hell is going on? I brought this up 2 weeks ago.
It's the same shit that happens every year.
The
We
Commanders
go
are beating
1-4. We go on
the
2
Packers.
4-game losing streaks.
Brady sucks. What the hell is going on?
Who beat Brady?
He didn't even score a touchdown.
The Panthers.
What
but
the
who
hell
was
is
playing
going on?
quarterback? It was amazing.
It's the most bizarre year of football ever, and then we're not even halfway through.
And dude,
We're gonna put this up on-
we got your boy Mac Jones kick slide ding dong stomping
I mean,
out.
what is going
Like,
on
just-
in New
just-
England?
Like you can't just kick
What-
someone right in the ding
Geno
dong.
Smith is the best quarterback in the league right now.
mean-
What the?
Mac Jones is kung fu fighting nuts. He's kicking McNuggets in. You can't
The
just
Colts
do this.
fans right now. Colts
what-
fans right now are wishing they had Wentz back. I mean,
I mean,
I don't know. Like we'll get
have
to
to.
that. We'll get to that because that's an interesting thing. That needs to be discussed for a minute or two. What do you like to say? Put a pin in that.
we're just going to put a pin in that.
Put a pin in that.
I don't like cliches, especially like corporate world cliches, but I that's the only one.
Oh,
I
you
use.
put that into my brain.
Let's just put a pin in that.
7 or 8 years ago, he's been saying this forever. I can't. It's in my dome. I never say it to anyone, but it rattles around the cage enough to know that it comes from your world.
Well, you know what? It's not my work. It comes from the way my mind works. Like I can put a pin in something and wrap around back to it. And it might take me a while. Sometimes, my last name ends in a vowel. I've been given quite a few long meandering
My last
speeches.
name ends in a vowel. What
So I'm not a talker. Obviously, I'm not a talker, but I did get passed down by a Marangola who may or may not be on the board at some point tonight. Standing at attention for a 45 to 97 minute discussion about God knows what.
I get it.
So,
As
but
young children are born into our family and they talk
put it
like
in.
this, we're all like,
Oh, yeah.
nah, he ain't the mailman's.
good evening, Ken Harris, EO, Greg Martin, EGH. We're gonna get some Robert Cohen up and in that.
Look what's going on with the Giants. The
Well, hold on.
Eagles.
We're not gonna talk about them first. Let's talk about us first.
What's going on, Ken?
Well, I told you on the
NFL.
phone. I told you on the phone. Did we talk last night? And I said,
I don't know. Did we?
I think that based on what is going on in the NFL, and based on the fact that we will be going for a 4-4 record in October, Kevin, I expect you probably already know this. I told T this: 3-13 in October over the last 4 years, and it hasn't just been
That's
a bad
scary.
month. It's been the month where dreams have died. It's been the season, and it's been the month where
It's
we.
hole digging month.
It's whole digging month. It's
Make it 6 by 6.
We
6 feet
transitioned to
deep.
draft prospects and talking about should the coach get fired and everything bad.
We're about to go on a 4-game win streak because
Yes.
we usually do. It's
We usually
weird
do.
as hell. It's so strange. Rivera's had 3 different 4+ losing streaks. He's lost 4, 5, and 4 over a 3-year span consecutively. That's very strange to me. But I'm glad we put a little bit of the fire out and have a chance to get to 500 this week. It would
And-
certainly be nice. And
And people, we've talked about it over the last few weeks. The schedule doesn't look great, but there's a part of this NFL where it almost kind of doesn't matter. But also, when we've been good as a team, when we've played well, when we've been solid, when we've been like, okay, that's a team that can win on Sundays. We've done it against everybody. We've beaten teams nobody thought we should have beaten. You know, we've taken it to the Steelers when they were good. We knocked out the 49ers when they were good. We beat Aaron Rodgers. I think if this team finds itself and does put together a streak, first of all, it's going to have to come against teams that are good because that's all we got left after Indy for the most part. But there's reason to believe that we can because when we've been good, we've been able to beat whoever.
And when we got the Giant Slayer, we feel like we can beat anybody. You know, he's taking down Tom Brady. He's taking down Aaron Rodgers. He's taking down Russ Wilson. This guy doesn't give a shit, man. This guy was packed up and ready to move out of the league 5 seconds before COVID ended. Next thing you know, he's out here again doing work. Well, a little over a half of work. We'll
Yes.
get to that too. Wow, did he start off? It was tough.
Well, you notice
If you don't
the
like Carson
difference.
Wentz for throwing the ball into a weird spot, then you sure as hell couldn't have been very happy with the first quarter and a half of football for the Commanders.
No.
'Cause our boy was trying to get. Thank God. What's his name? Rasul Butler? Thank God he has hands like not Butler. He was a basketball player.
Russell Douglas.
Thank God he don't catch like Russell Butler. Because that guy should have had 3 completions for about 75 yards and 2 teeters in the first quarter and a half.
And scored.
But I don't care because all that's could have, should have been. When it comes to this guy, it doesn't matter until he does it, and then we got to get mad at him. But man,
The Mandos. So Rhett Donnelly, he said it on the board now. He said it in the basement. The Mandos.
no, it's horrible. It's horrible.
It's from a Dolphins fan too. It's kind of like, can Dolphins fans really name our the Manders? So we definitely have a real problem there, and I don't know if this is the show that we fully address and solve it. The Durs, the Manders. This has been a problem with our name at the time that they made it. I don't even want to put a pin in that one. I don't even want to spend any brain space on it
We'll
tonight.
shelve that one.
It's a problem.
You
Let's
shelve-
just say it's a
you
problem.
Shelve that one.
And we
It's
just
not
gotta,
a problem.
We got to figure
I'm
it out.
never utilizing any of those.
I
terms.
just-
Nothing to do with anything.
I don't want commies. I don't want any of it.
It's the skins, and that's I can't
There you go.
mander this. I pay no man to this. It's terrible. Everyone's trying. It's like I know we all want the best for each other.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, we do. We're all together on this. But yeah.
Weak.
Oh gosh, left hand up. There's so many things they're trying to get us to do.
I know.
I just want us to win football games and watch something happen organically. Like no one told the boys that were in town for homecoming how to start the fun bunch. That shit happened amongst football players, and it
Yep.
turned into the fans scenario. Something like that. We can't force this. It's like Scary Terry. Just please stop. Someone, I just
Well,
can't.
you know what?
I
They were
can't deal
calling
with it
Scary.
anymore. I can't do it.
The people who work for the Redskins are calling him Scary Terry, and I'm like, why are you should know better than anyone not to. And so we're not going to do any Dan Snyder segment this week, other than we're not going to, but just to tangentially from what you just said, the tradition, any
Tangential.
tradition, anything
Is that by your
starts,
taint? Is that near the taint?
It's
Your tangential. It's right. It's a adjacent. It's a taint adjacent.
taint adjacent, but it's the
It's
Greek.
related to.
It felt like
It's
it
related
was.
to.
It's
They're-
taint
they're-
related.
Oh God! Don't
That's
tell me how they
tangential.
became related by marriage. I'm hoping.
Nothing that starts under Dan Snyder,
It's
and while he's
associated
owner,
with-
nothing that starts, no tradition that begins with when he's here.
Tainted
None of
Jason.
it feels good. None of it everything feels like it's forced from people who have no idea what they're talking about. And I'm now, I feel like a 12-year-old who hates his parents. Every time they suggest anything, I just hate it. All I want to do is watch the guys play, and that's it. And I'm still holding out hope, as we all know, that we'll get a new owner, and then I won't hate my parents next year, and it'll be fine. I'm not going to slam the door in my room. And
You never let me do anything.
I hate you guys. So that's my whole Dan Snyder segment of the night. So Taylor Heineke comes out of the gate slinging absolute dog poop.
Flinging. He was
He was
flinging poo.
Flinging poo all over the
Floating.
field, and
Floating poo.
it was really tough. And the only thing I could think because the game was tight because Rasul couldn't catch, because Green Bay couldn't do anything because our defense was playing well. But the only thing I could think in that first and a half quarter was for Terry McLaurin. All my head was like, oh man, like all I wanted was for this to be different than last year between Heineke and McLaurin. You know, like just to see it. And obviously we got there. We got there in the span of one game. But out of the gate, it was tough. He threw a couple balls behind Terry. Terry was open. He threw him covered. You know what I mean? Like he threw him into. I mean, it was bad.
His timing was off.
Yep.
It was obvious he hadn't had game like speed. While they were live, I think too there was a huge difference in the way they call the game in the first half versus the second half. Huge difference. A lot of play action, get him rolling out, get him comfortable. They were trying to keep him in the pocket. He couldn't make the deep throws or the wide throws. It was two different games two different game plans as far as I was concerned.
Well,
from what I saw.
Let me just say this: in the first half, we just talked about the dog dude, but that second half, 13 of 16 for 162, a touchdown and no interceptions. 4 of 6 on third down conversions, and one of those was the greatest throwaway of his entire career.
Yes, it was.
So I'm counting that as 5 of 6 doing the right thing on third down and long for us.
Yeah.
That second half, he was lights out, and
Kevin, to your point, if you watched the Chicago-New England game last night, and you saw Justin Fields, who's in his second year as a starter, clearly with a bigger pedigree, with a bigger future in terms of what people think. He's been out there being trained up on the front lines of a big-time program in the NFL, and he showed you exactly what you're not supposed to do. He ran himself all over the field, and he ran himself into sacks when he had the opportunity to throw it away. It's a fine line at NFL quarterback level, and it's uncanny how a guy who's starting his first game of the season and it came in as a backup got that right, so right, and a guy who's supposedly the franchise in another city doesn't know to just get rid of that ball.
I just want to say this. After he did it, he looked like, and we all, I hope this analogy doesn't go over the wrong way, but he looked like such a good boy. Like, he looked at the camera. He jogged off with his chest puffed. This is after he threw the ball away into the end zone. He turned, he was kind of coming at the camera, and he was like, I did it. I really did it. Because, at a 10,000 degree level difference, I could not throw the ball away. It was just something that you just don't want to quit on a play. If you're a heavy competitor, you just can't give up. You just think, I can do it. Well, I never played in anywhere near that league. You certainly can't do it anywhere near that league, but there's a bunch of other ones that you can't do it in either. That guy doing that, I was like, man, I just wanted to hug him and be like,
yeah,
you did it. But you know what else he did in that second half, which is ball out. But here's the deal. He gets we talked about him first. He gets all the headlines, blah, blah. The reason we won this game is number 17. He was the baddest ass on the field. I've never seen that guy compete that way. He was talking shit to Jair Alexander from the jump. When he made the plays he came to that sidelines. When they made that fade from Heineke to him, he went over there. He was making me feel like, yes, this is why I've hung in there. This is why I'm a fan of this team. This is why I do this. You are the reason, Terry McLaurin. The whole sidelines was electrified by those two. And then it kind of went into the stadium, and it kind of came into all of our living rooms. Terry McLaurin put the team on his back and said, we're not effing losing this week, and I'm sick of it. Give me 1 second, because I went nuts on this guy, T. I can't imagine a guy being a better leader, competing better, making the bigger plays, and doing everything we've asked after we asked him to be the guy and paid him likewise. His interview with NFL Films after the game was one of the most impressive modern-day interviews of any athlete. He's the man we hold forward. He's the reason why we do this, and he's the reason why we care, and I love him for it. He showed out this weekend.
There is a slow motion view after the touchdown when he is going absolutely nuts and just freaking out and celebrating. And right by his head is Ron
Rivera overlooking him,
staring at him and going,
I saw it.
That's why we paid him that money. That's what he is supposed to do. And if everybody else can watch what's going on right here, this could be fun.
And that was
weird.
And that's what I was getting to. That exact moment.
Yes.
And I saw it in perfect. And that's when all of a sudden it clicked for me. The reason why we love this is because family, football and family. Yeah. We gather around our families and we would win week in, week out. It was awesome. Friends, family, gatherings. That's what we were used to. We were spoiled rotten by it. I'm sitting there watching games every week. My 12-year-old's with me every week, sitting there watching. I get to look at him and say, that is the guy That's who you play football like. That is who you lead like, and that's what this sport's all about. That's what rooting for this team's all about. That's why we hang in there. That's why we've done this. And that is such a connection to the past and the reason why it exists. And it's the first time I felt that way in so long. And I thank Terry McLaurin for it. He is now he has risen to one of the untouchable levels of athlete in this house that we adore, and it's because of everything he's done for the last 3 years, 3.5 years.
Yep.
But what he did this past week, and it was kind of a coming out party for him as a leader, I believe, as the guy who got paid.
That's what that moment was.
And it felt like it. It felt like it, and I hope it is. And well, for him, of course it is. I hope he can gather another 10 to 20 to follow and play just like him, because that's what the hell we need. 20 more of those guys. Terry McLaurin.
It was a rare outburst of emotion.
He was talking.
from him.
He was all day. He felt it.
And not only was Ron Rivera watching it in somewhat of awe, there were so many other players that were too.
And I think it starts off when it's homecoming weekend and we stink and everyone's about. But 3 guys make the trip. 3 guys. One guy that hasn't in forever, Art Monk, comes to town.
Royalty.
You got Gary Clark, Ricky Sanders going out to dinner with our receiving corps. I think it was Thursday or Friday, whatever they did. They went and they gathered around. You can't imagine. We can what they were talking about, but I'm not sure what the specifics were. But I got to feel like Terry McLaurin sits there with an Art Monk, a guy who, good God, does he resemble that guy just the way he gets it done. Maybe their games aren't that similar, but similar-esque. I'm just saying, this is a guy that led.
Quiet assassins.
But he's no longer quiet, and I think he decided this weekend. Maybe they had a conversation, and maybe I don't know what it was, but
I think
he certainly was freaking playing some inspired football. Not that he needs to, because he always.
I think
does,
that they said,
but he was different.
We're giving you the ball. Like it was weird.
Most targeted receiver. Him and Samuel both had 8
Most
targets.
targeted. But the idea that even though we've talked about the lack of whatever the eye test for Heineke and Terry over the last year, I mean it's amazing that Carson Wentz didn't get it. Now I'm sitting here, we're looking at a target, by game. He's been targeted, but they haven't been quality targets by and large for the most part from Wentz, and it just looked like. I think that's what happened, Kevin. I think that they went into the game and they're like, "Hey, listen," and there's a great quote, and Ken Harris sent it over to me, and it was essentially them saying, that Taylor Heineke plays every play like it's his last play.
That's what Terry said.
And Terry was like, that makes us want to absolutely lay it on the line for him in every one of those plays. And there was an emotion, the emotion from Terry McLaurin. He's good. He's always good. He always knows who he is on the field, and everyone knows who he is. But for him to do that on Taylor Heineke's first game of the season, that tells me something about the direction of the team. That this 4-week IR with Carson Wentz, and I don't want to call it an experiment. We signed a veteran quarterback, and he's on our team. But right now, this is back to being Taylor Heineke's team. It's almost like the first few weeks didn't happen. This is Taylor Heineke's team, and I think in a way, Taylor Heineke is one of the smartest guys in town. Right now, he's not getting he's getting millions of dollars, but $2 million. He didn't fuss and cause a stink like a lot of guys may have done when when you tell a guy who starts most of the season for you, you're going to make $2 million and be our backup. But every single person in that locker room knows who he is. Every single person in that locker room is willing to put it on the line for him in a way that, let's be honest, pound for pound, man for man, it wasn't that case with Carson Wentz.
He plays like a guy trying to make $1.5 million extra dollars.
Sure.
In his incentive-laden contract.
Well, he gets 125 for every time he wins.
That's the point. If he wins all of them, he gets 1 point, whatever it is. He's out there balling his ass off with freaking house money, dude. I mean, this guy's
and with that house money, you know what he does after every time they win? If he gets that 125, he gets in the colors of the team he just beat.
Lace and them J's.
I mean, it's just the guy is he for real? Like, look, man, his arm does look a little bit better, but that ball he threw to Terry, the first thing Terry said to him on the sidelines was, "That was the ball." Now, in this league, you cannot throw the ball to the inside or over. There's nothing he can do. But if you put it to the outside, now we're in a fight. Now it's who's going to come down with it. And I think we all agree. 7 out of 10, that guy number 17 is coming down with the ball if it's put in the right spot. And the coverage was on the money. And listen, you want to go man to man and not give over the top help with 17. you're going to have to pay for it. And Jair Alexander is a hell of a player, but he got a talking to, he got learned a little something, and he got beat, and his team lost because of it. And that's how this league goes. So,
And if you watch the highlights from this weekend, there were two plays that look very similar, and it's interesting that it's these two. Joe Burrow threw a ball to the exact same spot to Jamar Chase on the right side on the right sideline, just inside the pylon, with two guys covering him. Taylor Heineke threw that same ball to Terry McLaurin. But those plays are, you watch them, they're mirror images of each other. And I mean, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are as good as you could ask for in the NFL. If Taylor Heineke and Terry McLaurin can hook up like that, and the way that they did the other ways, I mean, this offense is different with Taylor Heineke. But I think what we showed on Sunday is it's not different in a bad way. It's different in a way that you can 100% win with, and not to change full gears, but the Antonio Gibson, Brian Robinson two-headed monster, which manifested itself again. Robinson was mostly running, but Gibson caught some balls. But the way that those two contributed, as quote unquote, running backs or whatever. I mean, we can talk about Curtis Samuel, but just Gibson and Robinson and how they make this offense tick it's something. It's something
It's
that
what we wanted.
People are going to have to factor.
It's the one thing they said, this is what we want to do, and now we've gotten to the point where we're doing it. 20 offensive runs for B-Rob, 10 for AG, and you mix in 5 to Curtis Samuel. He ran the ball 5 times, and a couple times he was a little ankle tackle away from a little something.
He ran hard up
but
the
if he
middle,
would
too.
sit there, if we would sat there last week and said there's going to be 35 carries, how would you like him divided up? I don't think it gets any better than 20 inside the tackle to B-Rob running the ball the way he did, having AG playing his ass off. AG gave us so much at both spots.
Yep.
The guy is so productive. This is what his role should be, and he needs Brian Robinson to be healthy for that. And once again, Brian Robinson, the way you play football this past week after getting shot in the last month and a half, it's just bonkers.
Amazing.
I'm sorry, but we kind of gloss over it, but you got to be kidding me. You're going to play in the most physical, athletic league in the universe after you've been shot? And you're going to play like that? That dude packs a wallop.
The thing about Antonio Gibson, there was a couple times when he was able to bounce outside, and when he tucked the ball, put his head down, and put a steamed chugga choo choo all the way around, getting the speed up the sidelines.
We're all confused, but we're all happy.
Brian Robinson taking those inside the tackles
I'm not
carries
confused
20
by that.
times.
Yeah.
Allows Antonio Gibson to
No
be
doubt.
that guy. Because
No
Antonio
doubt.
Gibson, if you're asking him like we did last year, hey, listen, we're also going to need you to take this between the guard and the tackle 20 times today. He doesn't have what it takes to then bounce out, because a couple of those times that he just flat out outran the D end and the linebacker for positive yardage, and then he was able to be physical at the end of those runs.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's putting his shoulder pads into safeties and cornerbacks and making them pay, again, because Brian Robinson was able to keep him from doing that.
Yeah, the next few weeks are going to be important for Turner to figure out how to best utilize all of the weapons he got and what Heineke does best, right? I think in the first half, they tried to do some things that Heineke doesn't do well, right? And then they changed it. And the running game is going to be so important for that to work, because then if you don't have the running game as a threat, the play action doesn't work anymore. And then he gets teed off on, because then you can bring the pressure and he's got to sit in the pocket and throw. So the running game is going to become extremely important. And then with guys like Gibson and Curtis Samuel to do that little wrinkle stuff, either taking the jet sweep or
And Jahan
or
when he gets back.
or being the play action fake that then ends up into the pattern. Gibson, perfect, or even McKissick. But for the running game specifically, when we went on a 4-game winning streak last year, it was because of the running game. The running game got us out in front. It opens up your playbook. You can do so much more. And with Heineke, that's got to be key in order to be a successful. You get behind and you have to start doing the traditional pocket passing, get the ball downfield. That's not the game.
And the offensive line played better this week. I think Heineke got hit 9 times. He was sacked once, but we had 166 yards rushing, I believe.
He got a couple good hits.
Yeah, he did. But I will say that we played better. There's some good players on that side of the ball for Green Bay. They're number one against the pass for a reason, and that showed in the first half. And Preston showed out. He looks thicker, doesn't he? He looks like he's gotten bigger.
You know,
we knew he was going to be a good player.
him.
But you know what? Also, it wasn't heartbreaking to lose.
And they're the
him.
best team in the league on third downs,
and
defensively,
and
up until this past week.
Yeah, well, I mean, Aaron Rodgers never doing that in a career is crazy.
Unreal.
So we talked about this O-line. Can we talk about this defense a little bit?
Yeah, so I wrote some.
Go
I wrote
ahead,
down
go
some
ahead,
names.
go ahead.
Well, first of all, obviously William Jackson the third inactive.
Who?
A story, but not really. The play of the secondary. I feel like we talk a lot about the defensive line, and we could do it. We could have a whole show dedicated to those guys. We did. Aaron Rodgers was right. We rushed 4, and guys got
They were
home.
awesome.
They got home, and
They were awesome.
Anyone wants to talk about that? Let's do it.
They were awesome.
But in the secondary, getting it done with these guys, Wild Goose, Kendall. I wrote down Cam Curl's
That was a
name.
BS
and I wrote
call
down
on
Jamin
Wild
Davis's
Goose
name.
too, by the way.
It was a BS call, but you know what? He knew it, and he kept playing the same way.
You can't play that
I
any
thought
better than
Jamin
he
Davis played a good game. I don't think he was a superstar.
He showed some speed on a
Yes.
couple plays and he closed and he had good coverage. Jamie Davis is coming. He's turning into a player.
I think he
It's
is.
happening. No, it's not like we don't just give a free pass from
took him 4
outhouse
years
to the
in college,
penthouse.
guys.
I'm
Yeah.
saying, let's go. He is
It
trending.
was worth waiting for
He's
4 years in
progressive.
college to see what he did in
And
his
Cam
senior
Curl.
year.
Cam Curl. I really liked what Cam Curl did.
So Cam Curl, and listen, we joke about PFF, but every week, if they say something nice about them, we're going to say something nice. PFF's got the 2 top 5 safeties ranked in the NFL or in the burgundy and gold. And number 1 ranked safety in the NFL right now, according to PFF, is our own Cam Curl. Derek Forrest coming in at 5th. Now,
Yeah.
I don't care about all their bullshit.
Sure.
Here's what I do care about. Those guys are playing great football. Our linebackers played damn good. Our cornerbacks played better than they have been playing.
Yeah.
And our D-line is our D-line. So this is cool. Now, I know this isn't – now, there's Aaron Rodgers over there, but this isn't the biggest offensive juggernaut. But Aaron Jones and Aaron Rodgers, that's a lot to deal with
It
Dylan
sure
and,
is.
and then, Lazard getting a little banged up definitely helped us out. But I don't give a shit. This is an NFL team that Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback of. That makes you scary.
Yep.
And they weren't scared that we were rushing 4 and getting pressure at will. This is the defense we've been trying to play. In the last month or so, we've been all right, man. We've been all right.
His name hasn't even been mentioned yet, Holcomb.
Well,
Dude
he's
is
been a
stud.
machine.
I mean, he's so damn
He's a stud.
physical.
He's been great, man.
He's to the point now, T, where he's like almost fading into the background because he's so dependable and so you just expect it now.
He does it.
It's
He does what he does.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
And I love the fact that, we got the local broadcasting crew. It's almost like the, St. John's crew from First Amendment. It's pretty cool how often they get to call these games. But, they were talking a little bit about Cole Holcomb bringing Jamin Davis along. Cole Holcomb is a film rat. He is a junkie. He is a nut. And he is bringing his sidekick along with him along the ride. And it's starting to show on the field between the both of them working together and watching Jameis as an individual blossom, because there was a couple times he closed on plays that I went, whoa, that's what a really good team linebacker looks like that we've been playing the last few years. But he's on our squad. And
2
on
tackles
coverage,
for loss,
on
of course.
coverage, you see motion happen. You see him getting over a pick, understanding where he is on the field, and sprinting. Maybe the catch was made, but he's sprinting to an angle where before he'd sprint where the guy was, and boom, relying on his speed from college. This is the NFL, different caliber speed, even though he's a demon. Getting that edge, and it's a 1-yard gain instead of a freaking 20-yard gain. And that's what it's all about, that one bit of hesitation or that one false misstep. That's what this league is predicated on. And that guy has been stepping up and not making that misstep and using that speed. He's going to become a werewolf before too long.
Percy, kind of just I just looking for guys to take steps. Again, the names are the names, but to me he was another guy who I was like, all right, we're in week 7, a rookie who's flashed. I'm kind of starting to get a little bit excited, but not necessarily just because of what he does by himself, because of the success of Cam Curl and Derek Forrest. Now I'm starting to think, all right, if we kind of are starting to understand what those guys have to do and how they have to fit in and what they need to, how they need to exist, I think he's got a hell of a future.
Hell
on our
yeah,
defense.
because he's making plays even in special teams.
Special teams,
He's
exactly.
doing the dirty jobs. He's cleaning up the muffs, right?
Yep.
He's doing
Dirtiest
everything
job
he's
in the
gotta
game,
do,
baby.
right? But hey, he
Brett,
did
that
it.
was used to be your
He got
job.
it done, right? 2 weeks in a row, too, by the way.
Back-to-back muffs, back-to-back wins. The two men who muffed, I did some research, and I'll get back to you next week, but the two muffs in back-to-back weeks, one of them played high school and college football. One of them played high school football in the Knoxville area, and the other one played college football in the Knoxville area. So there's a Knoxville connection that I have to dive deeper into.
All right.
What did I say?
There's a Knoxville
Yeah,
muff
what did I
connection.
say was unbelievable?
Knoxville Muff.
That's all I
love the
know. It's
narrator's
going to
part of
uncover
it.
itself at
Give it to me in the
some
comment
future
section.
date.
The Knoxville Muff conspiracy.
Correlation, conspiracy theory, whatever it is. I know this. I washed my ass once and I didn't once, and we won twice. So that's not it. That has also been discovered because this past Sunday there was no chance. It was late.
No. Not Cole Holcomb. Jamin Davis. Not Cole Holcomb. Jamin Davis is becoming a player. That's
No. We cannot listen unless there's another muff. We can't start a muff drink.
all right. It's got to be 3. The rule of 3s. 3 muffs equals a drinking game. That's fine. That's fair. We understood that. Ken Harris.
The old 3 muff rule wins
It's
again.
clearly.
I mean, it's true. No one here disagrees with the 3 muff rule.
Tri-muff. It's the tri-muff. The tri-muff quadrennial. Let's talk about.
Not
obviously-
muff. Let's not talk about muff for a minute.
We are talking about going 4-4. Musketeers. The 3 Musketeers. Exactly, Greg Martin. I knew our board would come through. That's a like. There's 16 people watching right now. We need to have 16
All right, I'm
likes.
done. I can't. This is getting unbelievable.
Hit the thumbs up. Who knows what it is? You know what? I have no idea. The notion that a rookie who has never played in the league before, ever in the history of his entire life on this planet, is going to step on a field in the NFL on Sunday against our defense. Now, I understand the natural inclination of a football fan, no matter who your team is, and no matter how bad or good your team is. You're like, well, we got this. We're gonna blah blah blah. I mean, we're gonna take care of this. Now he still got Jonathan Taylor. He's still got Pittman. He's still got some weapons and a decent offensive line. But Sam Ehlinger taking over for Matt Ryan. There's a couple different ways we can go with this story because it's all connected to us in a variety of ways. But the opportunity to go and get Sam Ehlinger, anybody.
Well, he's never attempted a pass in the NFL.
Ever.
But so that made no sense to me after Irsay's antics and talking all the trash, especially to our guy, even though he's now our third stringer. And now Matt Ryan will be the third stringer. I uncovered, thank you, Spot Track, or how do you say it, Spot Track? Spot Track. They
Who's
just
the
made
second stringer?
They just made a choice. No, Matt Ryan. Yes, Nick Foles. Nick Foles is, and here's what you will not see Matt Ryan play football again this year.
No.
His contract suggests
Ever
so $12 million of his 2023 base salary is guaranteed. So he's getting his 12 next year. Fine. But $7.205 million in additional salary and $10 million in bonus guaranteed for injury. So if he is injured this year and it carries into next year, that $12 million becomes $29.205 million. Yep. They just made a decision, and they are shelving. He might as well just be in freaking
Just jarred up, like with
whatever,
like
pickle
jam,
him.
like
Do whatever you want, but he is
Apricot
done.
preserves.
So and that he will be Sam Ehlinger will be the starter. I was like, that's some serious confidence in a dude that's never done a damn thing. In fact, the last time I saw him play ball against a local team, he lost to Kasim Hill 34-29.
He sure did.
In 2018 as a starter for Texas when Maryland went down there.
They went
and took care of
horns
business.
down. They went
put
horns
Matty
down.
Ice on ice.
And I'm just saying, it was
Matty Ice on
finished.
ice.
He is iced out. It's done. There's no way you can, unless you just want to cough up $17 million. That was the experiment, and Irsay must have been on a bender when he decided to not only sign this dude but talk all that shit about the last guy. Carson Wentz had a good year for them last year, but how about this? Matty Ice is top 5. He's top 5. He's number 1 in completions, 2nd in attempts, 5th in percentage, 4th in yards, but a 9-9 TD interception ratio, number 1 in interceptions and number 2 in sacks. He is now done.
Total.
Done.
League leader in fumbles,
Finished.
too.
Kaput. Now I know Sam Ehlinger, Matty Ryan was going to get messed up by our front four. That was going to happen. They're great run blockers, but terrible in the pass game. We knew that about what Carson Wentz had to deal with last year. They were, I think, the last ranked team in pass protection, offensive line wise, in the NFL. So if you have a D line like ours coming to town and Statue Ryan sitting back there trying to chuck it around a little bit, that could have been bad news. And especially if you don't want him getting hurt for
That's
that
right.
additional 17. Now you give it to a rook, and he's got a little bit of mobility, but this isn't Mike Vick back there. So
Clint
Or is they spending
Longley
the money in
is
the
on the
wrong
board
spot?
now. No, I know he's not commenting in. Ken Harris is talking Clint Longley. Some of the guys are rookie QBs from Texas. That's really the lesson. It's not that we have no business licking our chops. Our defense is good enough to lick some chops. All I'm saying is, wait, is that true?
I don't know who Chops is. This is so
Can we
confusing.
lick some chops?
Just, if you could just introduce me first.
Little chugga. I think that Sam Ellinger getting his first start against us is the reason why I feel a little bit better about it. This has nothing to do with the Colts deciding we're a Sam Ellinger team now because he makes us better. This is what Kevin said. This is the Colts making a decision as an organization. Well, shit, we had to cut our losses the best we can.
Yeah.
We're gonna put this guy on ice and go with
Put him in the freezer.
Sam
It's
Ellinger.
done.
So we are now playing a football team that is not acting out of its best interests for football reasons. They're acting out of their best interest for organizational
But they're
reasons.
3-3-1. It's not like they're
know.
0-7 or something. I don't know. They're
I
500.
know, but
I'm
you've
not-
watched them.
Yeah.
They are weird to
They're not-
watch.
yeah, they are.
Jonathan Taylor hasn't gone off, which maybe he can and will at some point. He's a talented
Well,
guy.
if all of a sudden their quarterback is second in attempts.
Yeah.
Last year, that was not the case. It was handing off turn around and hand it off every time, and they had a chance to make the playoffs.
And threw.
Yeah.
I think he threw it to Taylor 50 times and threw it to
Well, I mean,
Hines 50 times.
If you want to look at it negatively, maybe this is what they need to go back to that running style. Just like we've done on our offense.
and avoid any mess.
Correct.
But no, listen, the dude. So
He's
it's
going to pose more
Oh,
problems.
Kev, here you go.
It's his second year.
They've played 5 division games already, and they are in the worst division. So 3-3-1, it doesn't stand
Yeah,
out.
I get it, and that makes sense. That makes sense for what they just chose. But I mean, I guess you're getting out ahead of it.
Yeah.
But this dude, it is his second year. He's been in a camp, and he had some tragedy happen in his life, and,
Yeah.
and it sucks. But I'm just saying, he's got 3 rushes for 9 yards. So 3 times apparently. I don't think they ran him all 3. It might have been one sneak in there, but obviously he dropped back to pass a couple times. And it was like, oh crap, I'm gonna get on out of here.
Get outta
Head on
here.
down the road. So that's gonna be part of it moving forward. They're gonna try and run him, make him more mobile, run the ball, and play some defense.
They
So,
did somehow beat the Chiefs. We can't forget that. It's that to me is probably the
crazy
weirdest
league.
the
I
weirdest
know.
result.
What's going on?
What's going on,
in
T?
the NFL, dude?
Kevin, I think we
It
need a
all,
lifeguard.
it all seems to right itself at the end, but right now it seems like a whole lot of crap has to happen for everything to
lot.
get righted.
Yes, a lot.
All I know is it was so much fun watching our team play this past week. Like it was just especially that second half.
Yep.
I just felt it, man. My 2 favorite guys out there on the offense making it work. It was just so cool watching our defense step up. And I know that Green Bay is not Green Bay, but they needed to be broken. Like this was the first time they're like,
bad.
all right, we're not Green Bay. They just broke us. Does LaFleur get fired? In typical years, a team comes in and takes an L to us this way, and someone gets fired. Somebody gets it. LaFleur was acting kind of like a little bitch the majority of the
he
game.
was.
He
He
was.
was.
He looked like a little millennial.
I mean,
don't
but
like
those
And
damn
what was he
refs,
saying? He was chewing
the refs
something? It
were
was like a
frustrating
something-
as
a
hell.
straw
Whether
in
you
there?
were a Packer
Yeah,
or
it was.
or a
It
Skins
was.
fan, it was bad officiating.
It was.
But he did kind of look like he was throwing some tantrums.
Well, as long as
Me?
Rodgers
No.
is there, LaFleur will be there.
I'd like to do it with a more mean face, more like a what? I got the whiny ass. Like, is this happening to me again? I can't believe, dude.
Well-
you're like 15 years old. You're the head coach of the Packers. Shut up.
He threw one of the
nerd.
worst
Like
challenge
he-
flags
it
I've ever
looked
seen.
Like he just
I
kept
know.
saying, like,
He
that's
tried-
not fair.
Challenge a
That's not
3-yard
fair."
I don't like
gain on 3rd down, or it was less than 3 yards. It was the most meaningless challenge I've ever seen someone
was.
waste.
It was.
and we've wasted a billion of them, which I think ultimately was a factor. The fact that we went on defense and they had to get 50 yards in 20 seconds, I have felt many a day like. I mean, shoot, we watched Mahomes do it in the playoffs against better teams, in the last 12 months. I felt confident. I felt like, yeah, we kind of got this.
Well, they hadn't shown anything, but it was Rodgers, and you didn't.
I
worry.
know. Yeah,
All they needed was
chance.
all they needed was a field goal.
That's right.
Just slightly off subject for just 1 minute. Sidebar. I want to ask you two how you feel about everyone in this offseason. And a lot of the stuff we've talked about over the years is the quarterback free agent market. So let's talk about the 2022 quarterback free agent market. 5 teams went out and got a guy. 5 teams went out and paid guaranteed money combined.
Can I just tell you right now? I'm going to write down before you say that. I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to
give
say
a dollar amount here.
my winner of the sweepstakes.
He was a trade.
He was.
He was a free agent.
Acquisition, but
He was
either way,
here's the deal, though. That's fine, but
go ahead.
$460,858,000 for 5 quarterbacks with a combined record of 12, 22, and 1.
I mean, it's unbelievable. What's going on?
Baker's now in the band. Here's what's going on.
Wow.
The Carolina went out and got Baker for not a ton of money, but they had to go get something, and obviously he turned it out. They're 2-5. Deshaun, $230 million guaranteed for just savior. But whatever, they're 2-5. He hasn't played yet, obviously, but that's still weird, isn't it?
It's super weird.
Very strange.
Russ.
Matty Ice,
Matty.
Matty Ice is taking it down to $36 million, I think. Russ, we'll see, but right now that seems a little sketchy.
Well,
And then-
I'm a
and
buyer.
Carson, we might have gotten out we might have taken.
We said it the entire time.
Yeah, right.
He was below market for a prototypical
1 year, nothing else on top of it.
6'4" guy with a
He wasn't
rocket
a
arm.
blockbuster get, but he also wasn't
Right.
a humongous bust.
And that's how we felt, and that's how I still feel.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying he was a huge bust, but I'm not also saying right now
He's not a huge bust.
He's not a huge bust, and I would not re-sign him for next year.
No, and I'm not inclined to play him
He
again.
is not the reason why we stink, and I don't want him out there. I don't
Exactly.
feel any reason to play him again. And we rock with Taylor and see what happens. And if he gets to the point where we're out of the mix or he gets banged up, we see what we got with our guy. I'd like to wait until Taylor does a Taylor.
Let him go.
How about this? At halftime, how many people wanted Sam Howell in and Taylor Heineke to never play football ever again?
A lot of people.
Everyone was begging. My phone was blowing up, and I was like, I'm just going to wait and see what happens because with this guy, he's not a quitter, so I'm not going to quit on him. And the way he plays the position, he gets the most out of himself of anyone I think that's ever played this position at this level. There's just no way he should be doing any of this shit. and he
I
keeps
hear what
making
you're
it
saying,
work.
Greg. He was bad, but it was his first half of the game. You got to let him get into it.
I don't think it's a
my
huge bust.
whole
I
argument
don't
about
think he was
Wentz.
incredibly bad either. I've seen him make 10 throws that no quarterback in our team has made in 10 years. So maybe we're seeing something different. I don't know.
My
Is he
whole
the
thing about
greatest?
Carson
No,
Wentz
but
was $26 million.
that's what I'm talking about. Wentz.
Is not a bad move by an NFL front office. A 29-year-old guy who's healthy, got the size, got the arm strength. Of course, on a 1 year guarantee. 1 year guarantee. You're not committed to this guy. There's absolutely no general manager worth his salt in the NFL today who needs a guy who isn't going to look at that and say this is a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. It was a perfectly fine idea at this point in time. The way we need this season to go, our best chance of winning for a variety of reasons, and not just football related, is Taylor Heineke. At this point in time, that's just it. That's
And that
just the
could
way it
change
is.
in 2 weeks.
Of course it
It
could.
could change in 2 weeks.
Yes.
And I'm not saying I want Wentz to come back, but we all know what team we root for. We understand how many quarterbacks come through. I mean, freaking Gottfried started a game for us last year. Like
Gilbert
you
Gottfried.
remember that?
Affleck.
I mean, come
I
on,
know.
dude. Like, so at this point, yes, I get it. I'm fine with Taylor Hunt. I love the dude. I had so much fun watching him. He seems to have way more of a feel for what we need right at this particular
At
moment.
this moment. And here's
As
the deal.
Carson Wentz was still feeling his way around this freaking offense and this team. And Taylor makes the offensive line, gives them a little bit of a break with his escapability, his ability to get the ball out of his hand, and his understanding of
Wentz
survival.
has
But
escapability,
when we
though.
signed
He
Wentz,
does, but his
we
survival
said under
scares
no,
me. He's not afraid to
under
stand there and
no-
take it.
Under no uncertain, circumstances, we were like, hey, listen, Taylor Heineke is going to play this season. That's just the way the NFL works. There's no way a guy with Carson Wentz's history and the way that our offensive line has been playing, there's no way in the world Taylor Heineke was never going to see the field. That was the easiest bet to make. But the idea that having him on a roster, yeah, I want to go with Taylor Heineke, obviously, and I want to ride this, hot roller on the craps table. But guess what? If Taylor Heineke is not Carson Wentz, Taylor Heineke is not 6'4". Taylor Heineke is not 230. Taylor Heineke, if he gets
We are limited.
if he gets
with
beat
Heineke.
up and we
Our offense is
of course,
more limited.
Yes. and Carson
with
Wentz comes
Heineke.
off the bench or Carson Wentz has to
Yes.
play,
The
excitement-
we're doing just fine.
the
We're doing just fine.
excitement-
That's what
yes,
I'm trying to say.
yes.
The
I agree with you.
excitement
I agree
and,
with you.
Good.
I agree
the
with
gut
you.
wrenching when the ball's up in the air and a commander receiver's waiting for it to come down with opposition coming in on it is it's a feeling.
Yeah, but is it any different than zippity doo dah rifling it all over the place, like just picking dudes off, like
know.
bing, 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 and it goes to everyone? So, listen, I'm going to say right now, both of them are very capable of making that. Oh, what are we fucking doing?
True.
And they also are both capable of making a play that you go, holy moly!
Yep.
But I just think for this team right
Sam
now,
Cosby coming back?
so I think he practices this week. He's got a big old club on
Yeah, he
there
does.
now. And there was some talk about him playing this week, but
It's a big deal to me. and I think
but
it's a big deal to
but
us.
they made him active this week in
I
a
know.
backup role,
Yes, yes.
which says that he's right there. So
That's a huge
yeah,
thing for us to watch.
It is. It is.
It's a huge
Yeah,
thing
I
for us to
agree.
watch because our offensive line.
Bill Cornelius does a hell of a job
Yes.
filling in, but Cosme's our guy, and we'd rather have Cornelius be the fill-in guy, and that'll be a nice thing for us when we get Cosme back.
So we're not going to do. We're not doing draft prospects this week. We're not doing draft thing, which is awesome. In late October, I went back. I went back and just did a little bit of a peek in the last. We've done this. We've been doing this now for 7 years, boys, and October has not been good to us. And the conversation and the feeling in mid October, because we've had good Novembers, we've had good Decembers, we have not had many good Octobers. And so it is a sense of this is new. This is a new day for us as Commanders fans, Redskins and football team fans, because we've always had to mount. And this is assuming we come.
Just say what you're going to say. The mount part freaks me out. Who have we had to
Mounting.
mount?
We've had to mount. We've always had to mount a comeback from a terrible October. We've always had to mount
True.
a desperation claw. Let us back in the NFL.
It's fair to
situation.
say we have muffed October
We've muffed October.
royally.
We have. It is fair to say,
Yes.
but
I thought we were going to say the M word anymore.
I thought we need we need.
Oh,
to,
did we put a kibosh on it?
no kibosh?
no,
kibosh.
I just
kibosh. But there's no more likes coming in. You know, and maybe
Have we over muffed?
we might have over muffed. Damn it. It's muffed over. Craig Martin, you've done it again, sir. Mufftober it is. How do we not get? You know what? Like, give Greg Martin a like if you're not going to give him an.
Ken Harris says we have to drink every time we say muff.
All right, so here's the deal. Jonathan Taylor, one of the best offensive players in the league that I've seen over the last 2 or 3 years. I don't think that's not anyone being too smart, right? He catches the ball, he runs the ball, he's got great vision, he keeps his feet, and he's powerful. With a new quarterback in, you got to believe a new quarterback's going to lean on someone like Jonathan Taylor, and an offense should as well. But this is what I've been saying, and you've been pushing on me a couple times here the last few years, pushing back even a little bit. The idea that Jonathan
Going on
Taylor,
over there.
There's going to be no mounting, that I'm certain of.
our run defense is not what I'm concerned about. I'm okay going up against a great running back in week 8 of this NFL season with our guys. I'm more worried about Sam Allinger, catching a Michael Pittman running loose here and there. I'm more worried about a Jelani Woods 6'7" tight end kind of guy, how we're going to D up on that, than I am about Jonathan Taylor. And because of that, I'm feeling pretty damn good about going to Indianapolis on Sunday.
Well, you should, because we just went up against a top 10 running back, and A.J. Dillon is no slouch of a backup. And those gentlemen combined for 12 carries and 38 yards.
unbelievable.
It's the least amount of rushing yards that we've given up since 2021. When we beat the Seahawks 17-15, we gave up 34 that day. 38 yards rushing and rushing for 166. If that's the type of disparity in the rushing yards, we should win every freaking game.
Yep.
38 yards. And now they're starting a guy who's never thrown a pass in this league.
I know.
Come on. The way this defense is starting to go. I mean, I'm just saying.
Well, and Kevin, the cool thing about that is, because we could say he's a rookie and he's never thrown a pass, and therefore we have the advantage, and we do. But hey, who knows? Maybe he's a guy who he's going to have a quick release and get rid of the ball. But we just played Aaron Rodgers. I mean,
You have
we
to have
just-
receivers to get rid of the ball too. Also,
Understood.
Just
But I mean,
saying,
all
like,
I'm saying is our secondary, who no one
They're a
everyone
play
wants to sleep
action
on,
type
we
scenario,
just
yeah.
played Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers is not a guy who's going to let you get away with a lot of things. I think the interesting thing about just to put a pin in that for a second, Kevin.
Ooh, pin it.
The idea that Aaron Rodgers was missing things, he missed some things. He missed some things this weekend. When you go back and look, there was 2 big plays he missed, and they were opportunities for Green Bay to either score or extend drives. But the reason was our front 4. Period.
Yeah.
There's no substitute for being in a fourth quarter of a game and having a quarterback have to account for guys getting home on him, regardless of how many guys they had to block. That's what we were doing all day long, and he was lamenting about it in the post game conference. Now I love Aaron Rodgers. I'm an Aaron Rodgers guy. Always have been.
Even weirdo Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Oh.
I love him. I do.
I find it all entertaining. to
I
be
think he's
honest.
great.
Yeah, but you don't f with the witch doctor.
I love golfer Aaron Rodgers.
I'm sorry.
I love it all.
Well, golfer Aaron Rodgers is my favorite, but
Yeah, he is my
well,
favorite.
In the paper, it listed the muff as A. Rodgers, and I was like, wait a second.
Wait a second.
Because
Hey, all right.
I
You
know.
said it, you
God
said
dang it.
Sorry, Ken Harris.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, Brett.
If the Curtains match the
everybody-
carpet with Aaron Rodgers, it's going to be a disgusting scenario because every time he puts that QB hat on the sidelines and those creepy old
He's cut
hairs
it.
come out,
Yeah, he's cut it. Though. It's got
Oh.
that weird.
it's all. I feel like that's not. It's not. It can't be a great muff.
Damn it. All right. Here we go. All right. Ken Harris. Mustangs. Here's the thing.
I didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't want to.
Well, luckily for everybody, we're professionals. The situation with the Indianapolis Colts, we're going to play. Oh, this is by the way, this is why you tune in. This is why you have your mouses hovered over the thumbs up icon. Like, should I like? Should I not like? This is why you push the button. This is why you give us a thumbs up. This is Dan Snyder versus Jim Irsay. The first opportunity, the only owner to publicly go out and say, we need to get rid of this guy, is now hosting Dan Snyder / Tanya Snyder in his own stadium. I think that I love it. I love the subplot here. I think it's amazing.
I think Snyder's gonna go.
Did you not listen to his whole thing? Ken loves the cuckold plot,
Yes,
subplot.
yes.
It involves Daniel, Tanya, and Jim Irsay. And that's what I was picking
There's
up.
going to be. What do you think the menu's going to be in Danny's owner's suite for?
I hope
for
they pour the
Indianapolis?
milk and they do the whole
Yes.
thing. Give him
Oh.
exactly what he would serve.
I mean, I think it should be just boiled hot dogs, maybe. And
Oh,
some,
definitely.
some
Definitely.
boiled hot dogs, no buns.
They'll get Tanya something nice. But Danny, yeah, his hungover ass gets no buns.
No buns.
Franks and beans.
Give it to him.
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 This we're not going to get it. Obviously, this is. I mean, I'm the guy who's desperate for the Irsay Snyder meeting at midfield sometime before the game. Obviously, in a million years, it's never going to happen. Never going to happen. There's probably NFL people there who are preventing it from ever happening. But
Snyder would get completely crushed. Irsay would maul him.
Irsay would maul him. It would be worth the price of admission. I want to see an absolute
You want to
fist
see
fight.
our owner in
talking about a
Indy
fight?
just being held,
Yes, I
held by
wanna
a
see it.
finger wedgie?
Dan
Just,
Snyder can't fight.
No, I know.
no, that's what we're
I know.
saying.
But no
Irsay
one's
hurt
gonna
his
try to break
back
the fight.
lifting weights with the team when he was the 30-year-old owner's son.
Yeah.
And then he became the 37-year-old owner of the team, and he was like, "Come on, guys,
Bam.
we're all lifting weights. We're all gonna trust me. Then we'll go somewhere else, and we're not inviting Snyder ever,
Ever. But the thing about it is, like, Snyder it's a fight that no one would ever break up in a million years, ever. Like, they'd be like, just let this one go. See what happens. Let's just play this one out.
Feral pigs could be biting chunks out of Dan Snyder in the middle of
Be like,
old
wait.
Georgetown, Wisconsin, and I am not reaching to help.
No,
I am
no.
not even. I'm not going to video though. I'm just going to stand there and watch.
So I didn't. Again, I don't think that's technically delving into the Snyder selling the team segment. I think that's a legitimate. Irsay went in front of a microphone and said, "There's merit to consider getting rid of this guy." And he's the only owner to have ever done it. And
I
now
think
we're going there.
Start a petition that instead of the teams playing,
Yeah.
it should just be
No,
a
dude.
Irsay versus Dan Snyder.
No, I don't.
Yeah, but we'll get crushed. in this.
Thunderdome.
I'm rooting for
Deathmatch.
Ursay. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
going to say I root for Ursay.
Can we win if Irsay
And I don't
wins?
even like Ursay, but I certainly adore him compared to Snyder.
Adore him.
Yeah.
compared
Two
to
men
Snyder.
enter. One.
Yeah.
You know what? If
No,
you know
one
what?
man enters.
One-
One little halfy ass.
Two douches enter.
Those
One
are
dude
legs.
leaves.
One little glob of shit.
in the corner, the corner stool, like his feet was dangling. from the corner
$500
stool.
shoes gets the shit kicked out of him. Good God, I'd pay everything in my wallet to watch Daniel
so
Snyder get throat punched by Ursay.
it is a subplot. And if we had better on the board, help us out. Who's the team this week? Who's calling the game for this Sunday? I don't know who it is.
It's a 4:00 game.
Help us out. I know, right?
Holy hell, what are we going to do? The game's at 4?
I
It's
know.
4:00 game.
It's a non-1 o'clock start for us. Aside from Thursday, we've been straight onesies.
Yeah.
So, and I'm a onesie guy, as everyone knows. But the thing about a 4:00 game, as someone who went to games for 20 years, you guys also went to games forever. So I love 4:00 games because it was the longest tailgate possible. I would get to FedEx around 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning.
Unless you played a primetime game.
Then I would get there like 8:30 or 9 o'clock in the morning. You're still that's just how many meals you have to plan. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or just breakfast and lunch.
I mean, 3 hots and a cot in Landovers is tough sledding. You got to bring your checkbook.
Listen, this isn't the show for it, but I can tell you about some long ass days at FedEx that I've spent there, and the late games are to me always were my favorite because they were always the longest on the asphalt. This, by the way, you know what? I said I wasn't going to make this about Dan Snyder.
Stink. We got stink. Go ahead.
My not being on that asphalt is the result of Dan Snyder, and it's a crime because that asphalt is
Chaps your ass, huh?
that asphalt is sacred to me. I love getting it on that asphalt, and I can't do it
Yeah.
in
Grinds
good faith
gears.
with him. It grinds my gears. But
We should go there. We should hit that patch for once. The board understands we should. You
all right,
understand.
I'm with everybody. I know because
T
we know how to do it
understands.
right.
We might have to.
But the 4:00 game, it's a little extra lube ahead of time.
No, that's last year. Sorry. Speaking of extra lube.
Yeah, that's last year. Sorry. But the thing about it is, I love watching the 1:00 games without watching our team play and getting a feel for the week. Because in this season, T, your question, what's going on?
I don't know what you're talking about.
What's
Go ahead.
going
Keep
on?
going.
What's going on in this league? Are you watching? Are you watching this season? This every week is a new story.
Yeah. Well, hence, what the fuck is going on?
That's what I'm trying to say.
In the NFL.
Get a sense of it in the 1:00 games.
I'm glad you guys are finally on the same page.
And then know at
it
4
has no
o'clock, this is
correlation
what we're
to our
dealing
game.
with. It is a wild and weird situation. We play in Indianapolis at 4 o'clock. We're going to get rid of a lot of weirdness in the 1:00 games. Let's make it chalk. Do you guys know that when they benched Matt Ryan, the line moved 4 points immediately?
4. I thought it opened at 4.5.
It was at 6.5 at one point, and it went to 2.5.
Phew. It's at 3 as of right before I walked
Yeah.
in here. Yeah. They don't know what to do with the 2 thirstiest owners in all of the league. They're like, what the hell? These guys are going to, these are the leaders of these organizations. How do we go about? So I think they think that Irsay is about 3 drinks stronger than Snyder after midnight. And that's what they go with because who the hell else can pick what the damn spread's going to be with a new quarterback who's never made a throw after they benched the leading passer in the NFL essentially in every top 5 statistical category, including turnovers and
I don't think Ryan's worth 3.5,
There's
4
that.
points. I don't.
no.
As much as I want to love playing a rookie quarterback who's never attempted to throw in the league, there's no chance in hell.
I'm taking
of 4
Wentz over
points.
Ryan 4 out of 5 times.
Yeah. Well, Wentz is
Why would you take him that
29
one
and
over?
Ryan's 1,000.
Well, because doctors recommend 4 out of 5 on all these commercials, and I try to sound professional. And I was thinking, like, you don't want to be wrong every time, nerd. Like, just give yourself a 1 out. So that's what I went with.
We have enough people watching right now where I want to say, if you have heard or will hear anything that you like, just hit the thumbs up. I have no idea what happens. We have no idea what happens.
No more M words.
It's an experiment.
It's tough.
It's an experiment. Let's talk score and predictions. Rhett is in the house with 24-10. He was pretty close last week. The Mandos, which I do not support. I will repeat it because it's associated with you. But we're not.
Yeah, but
the
he's doing it
Mandos.
on purpose.
I know he is. He totally is. All right, 24-10 is where we're starting. Anyone else want to venture?
I'm going to go with a 27-13 scenario. 27-13.
That's a 2713
Yes.
on the dial.
Well, you know, I like to be very scientific, and that over-under is right at 40 and a half, so I'm going to go 27.
Look at this guy. He's
13.
like calculating that. I thought
Yeah, I
you
just
were doing
just-
math in your head.
I wanted to go
Dangerous.
17-3, but I'm going to push it to 24-3, and it's going to include a defensive score.
24-3.
Most likely a scooping score caused by or scored by one of our first.
I think a
front
defensive score is long overdue for this squad.
I mean, if we just get a turnover, it's like,
I'll take a
what
turnover.
a gift.
I will take
it's
a
like
turnover.
manna from the heavens.
It is like manna from the heavens.
They've been very scarce.
Just
To be fair, though, there was a
Scoop
scoop
and
and score
score.
this week that came on back, and it was the right call, but it didn't have to be made.
French vanilla.
And that was, I know.
Rocky
I know.
Road.
But once again, it was
Just
our
saying.
boy. Who was it? It was the same guy who touched. This guy touched the ball 5 times, actually crossed the threshold of the goal line, and never had an interception or a fumble recovery. Rasul, my man.
Rasul Douglas.
He was gone. Douglas had the scoop and score, I believe.
Yeah.
That
He
was
he
evacuated.
It's a shame because he played our team and we hate him in the moment. He was a guy who got a job last year because of an injury to a starter, and he turned out to be an incredible player, and he's held on to his job because he's an incredible player. He didn't get it done against us. I love Rasul Douglas. On any other week, but he did not get it done against the Washington Commanders. The 2017 from Kevin Mason. The 24-21 from Robert Cohen. Manner of speaking, 21-13. You guys have all thrown
Everyone
it down?
really thinks we're going to freaking win. I like it.
Everyone thinks we're going to win.
I just don't like the Ellinger stuff, the financial stuff, and I think that just the defensive portion of the locker room has to be like, all right, they respect the dude, but they're like, all right, Matty Ryan is one of the most respected dudes as a leader in
He
all of
is.
the league.
He
Everyone
is.
knows what he brings. That has got to be a gut punch, like we're doing something different. Where the company line is, we're heading in a different direction. Like, that's got to suck. If you're on the defensive side of the ball, which is the bread and butter of their team, aside from Taylor.
Yeah, it is. No,
That's
it's,
gotta
it is.
hurt.
It's the bread and butter of their team.
Well, because you got to run the ball and play D, and that's what they've built it on.
Yep.
And now Frank Reich is no joke. The man can coach. I have nothing but respect for Reich, but he sounds like he's been given that. When Wentz shit got talked, he was like, I actually really like Carson Wentz, and now he's like, we're going with Ellinger, and that's it forever.
Kevin, by the
financially
way,
speaking, it makes important sense.
If Jim Irsay does the dumb thing and gets rid of Frank Reich, and we move on from Ron Rivera, and whatever, if those things were to happen, I'm interviewing him in a heartbeat. I'm bringing him in for an interview.
Especially when Irsay wakes up and he's in a cold sweat and it's like 11:30 and he can't find his bag anywhere. He can't remember where he left it. And he's like,
Stash!
oh, shit. Oh, that's $17 million. We got to save it. Stat.
Announcers
Guess what?
are Brandon Godin and Robert Smith. Robert Smith has had good and bad moments.
They were boring last time. I'm not going to lie.
I'm not
They
going to
were
lie either.
boring.
They were very boring. But you know what? It's not a
I
game.
thought Robert Smith was going to be great.
Me too.
And he rocked me to sleep.
I think the Washington Commanders offense is good for 24. I think the Washington Commanders defense is good for 7. I got him for 31. Greg, You said 31-14. That's kind of where I was, so I'm not gonna copy. I'm gonna say 31-13.
Not going to copy.
I'm going
That's
to say
old school.
two touchdowns, 2 field goals and a touchdown is what we give up on offense. So 31-13. Price is Right rules are in effect. Therefore,
You just gave me the squeeze and the Price is Right too. What'd you say, T?
24-3.
I love 24.
I got 27-13. You got 31-13.
You know, K Mason is on a warpath. Washington head coach material. We're not hiring Urban Meyer. K May.
Oh
Come on.
God. Oh God. Can you imagine if we the only chance we had to hire Urban Meyer, a dirtbag like Urban, was if Snyder was still in charge. Not his wife or not his second cousin, which is the next step, or whatever the hell else happens, while he hangs on by a thread for the next
Why?
Weren't they
11
tight?
years.
Weren't they tight for a little bit?
Who?
Snyder and Urban?
Yes, they met by a mutual friend, Lucifer, I think,
No,
introduced
seriously.
them, which
Yes.
was an
I'm
amazing
serious.
thing.
Was
Yes.
there not some discussion of Urban possibly coming here at some point? Weren't they?
He was in Snyder's booth.
Yes.
Yes.
That's right. He was in the box.
Yes.
In the box. Ken Harris, over-under is 40, so I am giving you the over at 31-13. I do believe that our offense, I think our offense, we said this going as a final point, as we kind of push through potentially what T would describe as 5 minutes too many. Our offense is full of skill players that can play in this league at a high level. Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Antonio Gibson, Brian Robertson.
Be nice to get Logan and Jahan back.
It'd be super nice to get those two back. You give Heineke those guys. You give him a Cosme back. You give us a chance against Indy. I think we're an offense that put points on the board, and I want our defense to be able to make it count and make it stand. But I think we have at the skill positions points in waiting. PIW, as we like to say in the basement.
I've never heard that before.
I think we're tapped out at about 24-27.
Okay. 24-27. But
I
that's
think
our
that-
offense. I said
think-
24 offensively, 7 defensively for 31.
Yeah.
So we agree. We're in agreement. We are close to being in agreement down here. Any final thoughts, last considerations, concerns?
What the
comments?
hell is going on? Is just what I want to know.
I know. We need.
I wanna know.
We need to solve this for you.
I want to know what's going on.
It's a weird league, man.
Weird
Not
as hell.
one of my men will rest until we get the answer for you.
You're bringing Cosme back. I can't get out of my head.
I love Cosme.
I know. He just said, and now I feel like Justin Timberlake's coming back also.
Bringing sexy back, Kevin. Where are you at? I know. Besides score, just
I'm with
general
manner of
feel.
speaking. I'm on my third muff right now, and it was a bubblegum
damn it.
incident that I'd
Damn
like
it.
to
You
not
did
talk
it,
about.
and,
But if you read it, does it? I just said it because I read it. It's Happy Hollow Muff. I mean, Muffle. Everyone.
Damn it.
They're doing it on the board, T. Chug that Sunkist. By the way,
I ran out.
AGH said, no more bitching about weight if you're going to be chugging sugary drinks. Just saying.
Ken Harris.
They're the little ones.
We do it the McNamara way.
I buy them just like that, and I
We make a
chug each
commitment.
one.
Buffalo Hot Wings. Damn it. It's like it's a trick. It's an absolute trick. These people are against us. Or for us. I'm not sure exactly.
I'm telling you right now, if there's any muff in this week's game, it's going to erupt. It's really going to get bad.
Ken's Wednesday is going to hit him like a freaking freight train.
I've been Wednesdaying for quite a long time, T, as you well know.
I don't know.
I know
I'm gonna
Tuesday
go
like
out
I
there-
Wednesday.
I'm going to go out there and I'm going to give
I'm
credit
going
where
to go as
credit's
far
due.
as to say is you.
Greg Martin has been
you
on
may
a roll
muff
tonight.
your Wednesday.
Greg Martin's been on a roll tonight.
He has been.
Robert Cohen, like that. I'm just telling you guys, like, I think we're all picking up what we're laying down.
Let's get excited about watching our team play football. Let's get excited about the burgundy and gold on Sundays. I understand there's a lot of distraction and nastiness and negativity surrounding the experience. We've talked about it. Our guys, our 53 against Indianapolis, to go 4-4 at this point of the season, when we know that we get the Giants twice in a row, when we know the Eagles are going to succumb to being from Philadelphia at some point, when we know that Dallas is going to succumb to being a pretender because that's who they are, and we know that the wild card, there's like 10 wild cards now. How many wild cards are there?
There's a lot.
There's like 20, right? Everyone makes the playoffs. Let's go. I mean, the experience that we had this past Sunday was transformative because it was watching. It wasn't fake. The way we won was our guys playing better than their guys, and it wasn't a fake organization that we beat. So I know Green Bay. You can say Green Bay's on a down year. You can say Chicago is a terrible team who just beat the Patriots, by the way, by a ton last night. You can say all that, but all I'm saying is we've won 2 in a row against 2 NFL teams that have done some decent things in this league with the players that they have. Why not us for a few weeks?
I love this.
Why not us for a few weeks?
I agree.
We're not decimated by injuries. We're not decimated by disaster, cancerous, toxic
better.
crap. We are getting better.
I will say a little bit better, but we're playing better. And if this was 20 years ago, this game is so important. I wouldn't listen to Robert Smith and whoever. It would be Sonny, Frank, and Sam Muff would be just everyone's having so much fun with it on the board.
Everyone is.
I do want to just. I mean, that's what I would do. I mean, it's whatever. But look, see,
should be a thumbs up for every mention. Appreciate everybody hanging with us on a Tuesday night. This is why we do it. Got a win coming up on Sunday. We're going to be back on Tuesday night to talk about it. Until then, he's Tim Strachan.
Can't wait. If anybody else has the question or the answer to what the heck is going on, I would love to hear from him.
He is Kevin Ricca.
Before 4 o'clock next week, wash your muff.
That's where we're at. I'm off the hook. I'm Kevin Marigold. We're still live. Thank God it's Tuesday.
Vikings game November 6th. I think this might have to be a scenario.